Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting on your Wednesday night. Tonight, we give you the coverage of the WSSR Cup Series. Crazy enough to say, our only race of the week. So we're hoping that it's going to be a good one to be giving you the call here tonight. It's your race number 9 of the season as the drivers of the WSSR get to tackle their skills at Darlington Raceway. Also named the Lady in Black and the track Too Tough to Tame. NASCAR fans and drivers know that this is a tough course. It's an egg shape, where meaning that turns 1 and 2 is very different from turns 3 and 4, as 1 and 2 a lot longer of a turn, allow a little bit more banking to work with to allow drivers to carry some more speed, while turns 3 and 4, slightly narrower portion of the course. Great place to try to attempt some passes, and we will also see a little bit side-by-side racing, but very few here tonight. It should be a good one of racing action, as we just came off of last week, race number 8 at Phoenix, where Vincent Sora finally found himself in a victory lane for season 10, as last week's race had 7 cautions in total. Only 2 different leaders showed up, as it was Seth Knoll as well as Vincent Sora up there, but tonight, it's going to be a fun one to watch overall, as it is going to be seeing Darlington, a track that's been ran 5 times in the past, back in Season 1, Season 5, Season 7, 8, and 9. Our last driver to get into victory lane was Ryan Kelly. Before that, we also had Ben Nelson getting into victory lane. Brandon Colley finding himself in the victory lane back in Season 7. But the last time they ran with this car track combo was back in Season 5. And we've seen, when you look back at the past in the WSSR, the driver that had success at that track car combo of the next gen at a certain track, usually that driver has similar success. And that last driver to do so was Vincent Sora, who dominated a race that was 210 laps in length, 144 laps led by that driver of Sora. And Vincent Sora also got the pole, led the most laps, won the race, and there were only 6 cautions during that run. Tonight, we'll see if that's a similar take, or if there's some other drivers that want to spark themselves a chance to have a good run. Like we've seen so far this season, we have plenty of different winners. We've seen Gavin Rogers be the multi-time winner. Seth Knoll also looking quick, that he might be having one of his better runs of the season, as this is going to be one of his final appearances this season as the part-time driver, and the 57 has looked fast everywhere we go. Vincent Sora's hoping that he's finally back to stride of winning multiple times a season. Or will we see someone else maybe get into victory lane and show off with the surprise winners that you can see in different leagues here at Darlington? It's a track that is known for a driver course, where it's about racing the track more than your competitors around you. And we'll see who has really put the practice in, who's willing to protect their tires, and who can survive the run here tonight. As practice is coming to a conclusion, we're about to move into qualifying, where the drivers will have 2 laps to put down their fastest time and 5 minutes to do so. But the wall is going to be dangerous. If you scrape the wall, it will invalidate your lap time. So drivers got to make sure they get a fast lap, but a clean lap. And they have to make sure they hit their markers. The driver that's gotten the pole has won this race 3 times in the past. Could it be a 4th? We'll have to find out here tonight. Again, welcome to the show here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. Joining me up in the booth here this evening is going to be Robert Moyer Jr. And we're making a streak now, Robert, of us being in the booth together. Richard Wolsifer off to go see the 24 Hours of Daytona in real life. So we hope that he has a safe trip and enjoys himself in Daytona. But for us here tonight, we're at Darlington, South Carolina. And Robert, this is going to be a fun race, I think, to watch. 150 laps. And for some drivers, they're loving the fact that it's daytime. Means that this track can get hot, it can get slicker, and it is going to be even more of a handful to watch out for.
That is correct, Sam. Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch what these guys can do here tonight here at Darlington. One of my favorite tracks here. But like you said, keynote is keep that car out of the wall. I mean, that's going to come down to it. But the fastest way around, as we see Vincent Sora there, just scrape the wall just a little bit. You're going to get your speed by running that high side there. So we'll have to see how that all plays out, as right now he's going to put down what did he put down there? Pole time of a 29.663.
Not good enough for the pole just yet. That's still going to be the 21 of Ross Tatum. Now, these are first laps they're coming in. We're expecting the second lap to be their money lap that they're looking for. This first lap is more so of a setup to see where your true speed will be at. As Drew Jew on the 88 now going to be top of the board. Brian Noel going to be moving up into second. Shane Terrian, who's a strong contender to watch out for, will be second after his first lap. And for Vincent Sora across the line, his second lap not good enough for the pole. Last week's winner going to be starting in fourth place here tonight. Ollie Fonseca repping the Ohio State, as Ohio State winning the national championship. So give a little bit of repping here tonight. I know a couple of people, they've lost bets on who was going to win the national championship. And if you lost the bet, you had to run the scheme. Some people enjoying the fact of who won the national championship in football. But a driver who's enjoying the top of the board, it's Shane Terrian in the 9 machine with a 29.446. But not for long, James Scioli takes it away by 3/100ths of a second. A 77 wants that top spot for himself. Zach Hall, who led the most laps here last season, will come up shy in third place after his second lap. And watch the ticker board move. It's going to be a lot of movement on who can get up top, but could it be stolen by this driver, Gavin Rogers? I misspoke on who was the drivers who led the most last week at Phoenix. It actually was Gavin Rogers and Vincent Sora that were duking it out on who was going to win that race. It was a pit road mistake that cost Gavin Rogers the lead position and ultimately the win. The 75, though, he's known for qualifying well and looking to be up front for a good qualifying run. If you get that track position, it's so key, as lap 1 is now underway for the 75, as he's looking for a fast lap, wants to be on top of the board. And I mean, Robert, he's one of the drivers that we know can get it done if he gets this lap perfect.
That he can. Yeah, we know how Gavin Rogers can be, and we'll have to see what he can do here if he can get that perfect lap. And he did wait for a little bit for the the track maybe to cool down a little bit, maybe get a little bit of clouds over it. But right now he's going to be currently 18th, but that is his warm-up lap. So we'll have to see what his hot lap's going to look like, as he looks really good there going out of 1 and 2 there, Sam.
Yeah, really carrying a good amount of speed, keeping his foot in the throttle off the exit of turn 2. Currently, your top of the board leaderboard is James Scioli, Shane Terrian, Zach Hall, Drew Jua, Ryan Kelly, Gavin Rogers giving it everything he can to be top of the board. Seth Knoll moves up to 3rd. Rogers from 23rd up to pole. Not going to be the case. It's up to 5th place for the 75. There are a couple of other drivers still trying to get in a qualifying run. One of those being Larry Yingling in the 67. He's on his hot lap. Christopher Norris also out on track as he's starting his second lap for the 37. Larry Yingling is going to cross the line for the 67. He was 12th on the board on his first lap. Doesn't look like he's going to be finding any positive time on his second, so it's 12th for Yingling. Christopher Norris, though, with 30 seconds left in qualifying. This will be his one and only lap for qualifying. We'll see if he is able to bump up and move into the top 20. He'll be starting outside of the top 30. He's got a few drivers deciding not to put in a time. We'll see if they decide to even take the grid at the end of this evening. But lap 1, going to be a 30.073 for Christopher Norris, but it looked like he had tapped the wall somewhere, so that it will invalidate his lap. So he will not be having a lap count. He's going to be trusting his fate on his iRating, which I think he's going to have the highest of those that did not qualify. So Christopher Norris going to be starting 30th here tonight. As we have finished up qualifying, we're moving into our warm-up, where drivers have 5 minutes to get any last little bit of warm-up practice in, of figuring out the track, figure out where their pit stall is, and as well gives us time to take a closer picture of how the season's been so far. Let's first take a look, though, at our point standings this season, as things are getting a lot closer on the cutoff line. Chris Ditz had a major jump, was our biggest mover in points, up 4 spots after his fantastic run last week at Phoenix. The 17 going to be moving up to 16th in points, just going to have a 6-point advantage over Ollie Fonseca. Joshua Kanata 18th, as Kanata, one of those drivers, was looking for a good cutoff run, but all those drivers, they got to be analyzing how this season's going, because all eyes might have to move to 15th in points, because 25th currently is Cody Reed with his win back at Atlanta. That will automatically give him a playoff berth, even though he's outside of our cut line. But got to say, looking at this standings, Robert, it really is still wide open, with the fact that we still have 3 more races after tonight on who could be making the playoffs.
Oh, that's it. I mean, like you said, Sam, it's wide open right now, and we're looking at 16th, 17th, and just all the way down through there. You got Douglas down there, you got Tom, You got, Ali Fonseca, like you said. You got, a lot of drivers that are going to be pushing, these last couple races to try to get into the playoffs. And it's only going to get tighter as these races, wind down. Like you said, 3 races to go. So, things are going to wind down, and it's just going to get, every race is just going to get more and more intense for them drivers that are looking to try to make it in. And then even, like you said, down there with Cedric Connor, in the 15th position down there with Jared. They got to have good runs too. You get bad runs with a 30 car plus field, you can lose a lot of points too at the same time. So it's going to be fun to see what these guys can do.
Yeah, and even if you have a bad couple of races, you can still make that surge back. I mean, Vincent Sora, who had a terrible start to the season, he comes off his win last week and a real string of good races. It's placed him inside of our top 10 in points. So all these drivers know there's still a chance to make that playoff push, but it has to start tonight or next week if you still want to have that chance. But we'll move on from our point standings over to take a look at our schedule, as tonight is Darlington, but the next 3 races are the final races of the regular season, heading to Road America, Milwaukee Mile, and the Daytona 08 configuration is going to be the last race of the regular season before we head into our playoffs. We'll be having the elimination brackets going through on who's in, who's out after 2 races each round. Going to be fun action with Watkins Glen and Texas in the first 2 races in the playoffs. But everyone, if you look at how the schedule's been, not a lot of multiple winners. Gavin Rogers has been able to do so, but he's the only driver that's been able to get multiple wins this season. Everyone else still searching for their first win for some, others looking for their second. And Robert, I mean, looking at the board, there are still so many fast drivers yet to get into victory lane this season.
That's so true there, Sam. I mean, I'm looking at the race when you got Cody, Drew, then you got Galvin, and then you got John Forbes, you got James, you got Galvin, that's the only driver to win twice. You got Seth Nolan and Vincent Sora. So, it's going to be interesting here tonight. Like you said, we got some fast drivers that have not, got that win yet, like a Ryan Kelly, a Zach Hall, a Cedric Connor. I mean, there's numbers, not just a little bit, there's numbers that drivers have not made it into, that victory lane or even got the pole yet, on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, it has kind of been shocking, but it's proven these last couple of seasons with the caliber of rookies that have come in and the way that this league has really grown. It's been fun to see that really there's about 15, sometimes even 20 drivers that could have winning pace. But it's about having the race come together at the end, which, speaking about the end, we're slowly coming to the end of our warm-up session here tonight. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone that's joining with us in the chat. Type in, who are you rooting for? Which driver do you want to see get into victory lane, or team that you're hoping to find success here this evening? We also want to say thank you to the sponsors for the WSSR Cup Series for Season 10, to GTR Simulators and Trophy Smack. We're going to give a more detailed thank you to them, as we want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. If you go to gtrsimulators.com and use the promo code WSSR for 10% off on trying to level up your racing experience at home. As well, use the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off at Trophy Smack. If you're looking for custom trophies or pre-made, they've got you covered in championship belts, rings, trophies, and more at trophysmack.com. Remember to use the promo code WSSR Smack when purchasing at Trophy Smack. But for tonight, thank you so much for joining with us. It's going to be a fun one here this evening. We've got 150 laps in total that we will be running here tonight. We also have a stage break at the end of lap 35. No fast repairs or extra sets of tires in pit road. Fuel window around 70 to 72 laps. So we're going to be good on the stage on fuel, but after that, it's when you got to bring the calculators out on where you want to pit. But first, let's take a look at our starting grid here this evening. Taking the top spot, looking fast, it's the 77 of James Scioli. In second to his outside, looking for his first win this season. This is one of his favorite tracks on the server of iRacing, on the service of iRacing. It's the 9 of Shane Tarian. Taking one of his final starts of the season. We'll see how many more he has left in him. It's the 57 of Seth Knowles starting in third. Talk about a driver who has not gotten a win, but a past champion, Zach Hall, last season's champ, looking for a good start in fourth. here tonight. Gavin Rogers wants some redemption after the finish of last week at Phoenix. 75 will be starting in 5th. Drew Jua, how aggressive does he want to be here early on? We'll have to see on this start of the race. But a great start in 6th for the 88 machine. Ryan Kelly will be starting in 7th with Cedric Hunter in 8th. Finishing out our top 10, we find Douglas Newbigin, a good qualifying run for himself as well. Fantastic qualifying run for the 8th on Brian McCann. Then we fall outside of our top 10 in 11th, where we find the 15 of Ken Campbell, a 3-time champion of the WSSR. It's the 67 of Larry Yingling starting at 12. Ryan Noel will be down in 13th. Ollie Fonseca in 14th position. 15th, we find the 12 of Andrew Medlin with Vincent Sora, last week's winner. Not the best qualifying time he was looking for. He'll be starting all the way down in 16th position with Tom Senjek in 17th. Ross Tatum all the way down in 18th place with Danny Cochran in the 2 machine in 19th. 20th, we find Christopher Wade, and shockingly, outside of the top 20, we find the 27 of Jared Palmage, as well as Joshua Kanata in the 22nd position for the 16. John Forbes Jr. back in 23rd. 24th, we find Chad Wilkes with Tyler Dengler in 25th position. 26 is Justin Malarkey with Chris Stitz down in 27th. Stitz needs a good run. Again, he's at that cutoff line, but he needs to be inside of the top 15 to make sure he's good on points, because everyone's worried about the driver in 28th. It's the 25 of Cody Reed. That win where he runs in points entering tonight. Good bumps the driver out of the playoffs. Got to watch out for that one. Down in 29th, we find Samuel Garcia, Christopher Norris in 30th, Trevor Earhart in 31st. And it looks like driver going to be starting in 32nd position in Nicholas Renner, and Adam Kraus in 33rd. Not seeing Kraus or Renner out on track, so we'll see if they are going to be making the race. If they do, they'll have to start on pit road. A couple of drivers heading to the end of the line. That would be Nicholas Renner, as well as Cody Reed and Tyler Dengler, all going to be having slight penalties that they have to serve after last week's race. So some drivers have some penalties that were carried over. We'll see how well they can search their way forward, but it's going to be a fun one. Thank you so much for joining with us here this evening on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. My name is Sam Dyer. With me also will be Robert Moyer Jr., as we've got Darlington Race 9 to give you the coverage for. Got 150 laps, but the stage ends at the end of lap 35. Where will the top 10 be? Because it's about to be roaring here at Darlington. The track too tough to tame, the lady in black, so many other kudos to this course, but we'll see who can survive it as we are underway. Green flag, and it's Shane Terrian, James Scioli side by side as they head into turn number 1. And Robert, it's pretty equal distance for our front runners as everyone trying to survive off the exit turn 2.
And that's going to be the key here tonight, side by side. Don't hit that wall, don't scrape it, try to keep it, fixed. As we're looking at the 3 wide going down into the, oh boy, that's dangerous.
It really is. A Seth Knoll who's going to be in the 57, diving down low underneath James Scioli, as Shane Terrian wanting to lead lap number 1. And what a pass on the outside. The 9 machine will lead that first lap. Track position is going to be the key factor here this evening. You want to have the clean air, but no, it's going to be Knoll, Terrian, contact. Terrian sent it to the outside wall. Luckily, everyone else able to race around him, but he gets back into the wall again. This 9 looks uncomfortable and might be damaged as the rest of the field has to get around him. And just like that, Shane Terrian required damage. His race went from perfect to absolutely horrendous in just 2 laps. He went from a chance to win to a part-timer taking him out. That's so frustrating.
Oh, it is. And you can see that right front there, toe link is broken. He hit the wall pretty good there, Sam, and he's trying to creep it around, and I'm not sure he's gonna have to get that thing down to pit road. But welcome to Darlington, right? I mean, this track is too tough to tame, and unfortunately he I don't know what to say, man.
It's frustrating. I mean, you got 2 different mentalities. Seth Knoll, who felt like he had the grip on the inside, didn't work out. One driver, though, really off pace and weighing down low. I believe it was Christopher Norris in the 38 who had a big whoop down there. But I know Terrian over the radio, not happy, and I mean, understandably not happy. He's running for a chance to run for a championship. This is his favorite track, one of his best tracks that he runs, and has a chance to win, and instead it's up in smoke on lap 2. Seth Knoll, on the other hand, made the tap, and he continues to stay up front as the rest of the field getting in line. And this is the traditional way of Darlington. Everyone gets single filed up. Those first 3 to 4 laps is so tense on who can survive and not get into the outside wall or get into their competitors. And luckily, the rest of the field was able to survive. Tyrion, the only driver not able to, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, and he, like you said, he's fighting for a playoff from a part-time driver to fight with the playoffs, and kapoof, up in smoke. So now he's just going to have to go in there, and I don't know if he's going to retire or just, get that thing fixed. And never know, you might be able to get some of your laps back, hopefully. But man,
Oh no, he just got the report. Robert got the report of too much damage on the vehicle, so I think his race is over. And that is a new aspect iRacing has added in. But in the past, you would get damage and it would take sometimes up to 30-40 minutes to get it fully repaired. Now iRacing has certain damage that you collect, it will not repair that vehicle, and even if it tries, the vehicle will be too slow to even get out back on track. That is already lap 2. So much high hopes for that 9 machine, and it is done just 2 laps in. But the rest of the field, some early drivers make some big moves up front, as Seth Knoll up 2 spots, as well as Gavin Rogers up 2 positions for the 75. He's now putting that big pressure on James Scioli. Driver that is the biggest mover currently right now is actually going to be Chris Stitz back in 21st place, as well as John Forbes. As you can see, just the little side-by-side crossover moves. The drivers didn't qualify well, so they need to make these passes immediate before the stage 1 is over. Again, stage 1 is done at the end of lap 35, so there's still big points to be made, and a reset with that caution going to be coming out at the end of lap 35.
Yeah, I mean, it's I worry about lap 35 and getting double file again, because as we know, and you noted on it, Sam, this track, you want as to see driver there get a little loose there, and number 4 coming out of the corner, but you want to get single file. That is the safest way around this track. You do not want to go side by side as the 4 gets into the wall there again, but again, you don't want to go side by side, right? I mean, you want to get single file and then run your race. You don't race the drivers, you race the track. So that's so we'll have to see how this all plays out with these guys here. But like you said, I hate to say it with Shane Terrian, he's going to have to look at the next 3 races, right? You got Road America coming up. You got Daytona 08, which is bumpy as bumpy. It's not the new track, so that's going to be an interesting thing to see. He's just going to have to focus on the next 3 races and try to make that playoff, push.
Yeah, I mean, Shane Tarrant entering tonight was inside of our top 16. He was 12th coming into tonight. He does have a couple of points to kind of work around, but his competition that he was worried about behind him also all qualified well here tonight. So it is a slight worry on what the point situation will look like after this evening, and with a bigger field of over 30 drivers showing up here tonight. That is a lot of points that you're losing out. We'll see how that affects heading into next week's race at Road America. As the battling for 4th place is on screen, it's Zach Hall, Drew Jua side by side off the exit of turn 4. Drew Jua's got the inner groove, and Hall backs out. Does not want to be in that fight, but we backed off so much it gave Ryan Kelly a chance. Now to be to the inside. Kelly, though, didn't have the run, didn't have the momentum, and luckily was able to get in front of Douglas Newbigging. And that's the interesting thing of releasing a driver, you could say. If you want to let them pass, you got to make sure there's space for you to close in that gap. And Kelly, he now sniffs a chance for another position. The 3 to the outside. Hall has to give space for now. And now Zach Hall, will he back off on this run? It looks like instead he'll fight, keep it side by side through the corner, and wants to keep this position, or at least be in a fighting spot to where he won't lose ground to Newbigging. Newbigging thought about it. He might aim for a crossover move, but had to back off. Was too close to that outside wall.
Yeah, don't want to hit the outside wall, as you see Zach Hall doing the smart thing, like I said, backing off and letting the guys have the positions. No need to fight right now, 13 laps into a 150-lap race, right? I mean, you got a stage break coming up, so you might as well just sit back, keep the car clean, keep it off the wall the best that you can. Now, I've always said here at Darlington, Sam, if you don't scrape the wall, you're not racing, because, if you get a car that comes out of here clean, then I think you took it too easy here at, the lady in black.
I mean, in some ways, yes. Other ways, I think a clean vehicle means that you are smart, and in other ways, yeah, you can use it up slightly. I think if it's later on in the race, you want a clean vehicle, because you want to make sure that you've got a vehicle that's not being a parachute on these straightaways to set up passes. But currently, the field still all in line. Up front, it's about a 3/10 difference between Seth Mould and James Scioli. That's currently your leaders. Other drivers deeper in the field have been your biggest mover so far. Is all the way down in 16th position. Up 7 spots is going to be John Forbes Jr., who's seen an opportunity to go for a lot of drivers in front, but here is the opposite approach. You know how Zach Hall was backing off, giving space for a chance. You know, if you saw that a driver was faster than you, it was dangerous to fall away. Well, if the 11 goes for a pass, he could not go for you can go for a pass, but not have the space to clear for that position. And you've got to train this close. It's so hard to make passes.
Oh, most definitely. You know, you get in a train, and these cars, you know, at certain tracks are hard to pass, and tonight's one of them. As you can see, Vincent Sora right now, he's working on Larry right now in that 67 right now, as they get a little bit of contact right there coming through the turn, as they still battle side by side 1 and 2, and oh, looks like Vincent Sora decided to back off there, Sam.
Yeah, good move that then was defended. Yingling in 12th still, Sora in 13th. Also saw Thompson checking to get by and hold off John Forbes. And that's the big thing is some drivers are attempting passes but not able to complete them off the exit as you squeeze off the exit of the corner. This track, it just naturally wants to narrow up to just one lane off the exit of these corners. And so when you're side by side, you're hoping that you're cleared through the center of the corner. So when you exit off, you don't have to worry about backing off of hitting the wall or hitting your competition the next of you. And right there, John Forbes felt like he had a good enough run off the exit of the corner. He'll stay side by side, attempting a pass here on Tom Sinchek. Ollie Fonseca saw a chance to run it on the outside and try to carry momentum. And everyone, once again, stalling out, except for John Forbes, who did complete that pass. So he will move up to 15th position for himself.
Yeah, and that's a good pass. That just goes to show you that he's got the speed underneath that vehicle right now. Because, like you said, you know, as you can see, Vincent Sora again, he's getting such a great run coming out of 1 and 2. He gets down into 3 and 4, and then all Larry has to do is basically pinch him off exiting. And once you do that, you know, the car below, it's got so much wheel in it, Sam, that you're losing speed because you're putting so much wheel in it because you can't let it guide out like you're seeing right now. Oh, as Larry's getting into the wall, and this might be the opportunity for Vince Sora to pounce on that 67 here, but looks like he was just too far back as of right now.
Yeah, and the fun part of virtual racing compared to real life racing is Ollie Fonseca gets into that outside wall as John Forbes was attempting to pass, just got out of sorts for the 40-24 machine. Luckily didn't get too hard of a hit, so he'll continue to race on. But the virtual side of things, on the fact that if you hit the apex of the corner on that outside wall, it actually can help straighten you out and keep a good exit off the corner. And it looked like for Larry, just a little bit of assistance. You're not trying to abuse that system, but there are small little helpful nudges that you can try to help yourself out if you're trying to go for a defensive move. An update on Shane Terrian. He has officially left the server. His night is done. That's such an unfortunate. Qualified second, took the lead on first lap, and then was taken out on the second. And the 9 machine will finish 31st here tonight, as seen on screen. This is the battling going on for 19th with the SpongeBob 27 of Jared Talmadge trying to hold back Stitz, Wilkes, as well as Norris.
Oh, as Stent just got into the wall, and Stent's had a great run last week there, Sam. We were talking about him all race, and right now he's back here running in 20th position, scraped the wall, and still looking good here right now as he's trying to get by that SpongeBob Jared.
Yeah, Jared Talmadge trying to be defensive here, the best that he can. And for Jared entering into tonight, being 15th in points, that is kind of with the way that Cody Reed's been running these last few races. This 727 recognizes he has to have almost a perfect race because his other competition, 16th in points, is this 17th. So both these drivers running for a chance for these points that are so crucial to make sure that you're fighting for the playoffs. And this pass, it might be back for 19th and 20th, but it could set you up for such a better run when we come to the end of the stage. As again, stage 1 will conclude at the end of lap 35 unless there is a caution between lap 30 and 35. That also would count as the stage. Currently, the drivers inside of our top 10, Ken Campbell is 10th, Brian Noel, ninth. They're having some pretty good runs for themselves as Cedric Hunter in a little bit of no man's land. Sometimes this is the best place to be when you have no competition directly on your back bumper, no one directly in front of you, and you can just race the track, hit your marks, and feel like that you have zero pressure of those around you. It's only yourself they have to worry about as it gets very close to that outside wall.
As they say, you get close and you get loose, but you know what Cedric's doing right now is how I would like it. No one around me, let me race the track and try to keep it clean and, you know, not lose too much positions as he's looking good right now. Ooh, who's that back behind?
It's Seth Noel, who's also being pressured by the 15 of Ken Campbell, and they're all just feeling the wear and tear on the tires. Ken Campbell trying to go for an opportunity on this 00 machine for 9th place. Campbell really hounding that rear quarter panel, and now it's given a chance for Brian McCann as well as others. John Forbes thought about going to the outside of Yingling, not able to do so, and we're back to side-by-side racing, multiple rows through, and Noel trying to keep his pressure of 9th place while Brian McCann, one of his better qualifying runs, saves it. So does Danny Cochran and Tom Simchek.
Wow.
Big wiggles all around. We stay clean and green, but it's getting to that point where this race, the tires are falling away. One simple mistake, one overcorrection like that, and we got ourselves a caution just lingering to happen.
Yeah, just like the tires wear off, man. That was great driving, great skill. You know, I bet that force feedback in that wheel was gripping them left and right there, Sam, as they did save the vehicle, like you said, and good job for them. But you know, wind up with a little bit of damage, but it's okay. As now we've got Brian here in the 8. He's trying to work around that vehicle here. Oh, as he, man, everybody's just hitting the wall. I think it's coming natural. Just scrape the wall a little bit.
Yeah, scrape it just a little bit. And the reason why you're being pressured, everyone is on top of one another in this pack. You have to hit your marks and be perfect. And even if you make a slight mistake, you got to keep your foot in the throttle and hope that if you hit the wall, it's just a simple graze and it doesn't force you into damage. As right on board with Vincent Sora, as he's trying to attempt to go for this pass on Ken Campbell. You saw that wheel. He was cranking it as far as he could go to make sure he could get off the exit of turn 4 and then whip it back to center to make sure that the tires are lined up to go straight. But Sora, huge run. You can see the spacing. Just a little bit of space can allow you with a massive run, but then you get into 3 and 4 where you have to try to outbrake your competition. Then hope that you've got the tires in the grip to get a good run off the exit of the corner and the center off. Sora's keeping his foot on the throttle, and it works out. That's the best run you could look for, trying to go for a 2-for-1 pass.
I was just ready to say, that's how to do it right there. Now you got John Ford Jr. behind there saying, I want to try what he did. But right now, I mean, Larry is looking good on that high side, Sam. He is just not giving it up. Vincent Sora and Larry been battling it probably, what, the last 10 laps?
Oh, we were almost 3 wide. John Forbes almost forcing the issue. But it's Brian Noel in the wall. We're going to be 3 wide. The 00 have to stay high. You don't want to ride on that wall for too long. But going from a top 10 finish at the stage to now falling outside of the top 15 looks doable for the 00. McCann rewarded with the pass, able to take off and go. But it's Yingling and Sora side by side, past champions that are fighting upon who will get this 10th place bonus point. And as this duel was going on, the duel for the lead is on as well, as James Scioli is caught up to Seth Knoll, and Knoll is under pressure of losing out on this stage win.
Oh, we'll have to see if he gets that stage win or not. Yeah, as you see here, you got James in that 77 looking good, fast, saved his tires. Now he caught up to him. Now he's got to figure out how can he pass him. Is going to be the next thing here, Sam.
Yeah, and Seth Knoll, James Scioli, and so many leagues outside of what Freaky Fast calls. These two drivers have gone back and forth for races, race wins, championships. They know each other very well, and they will be willing to put everything on the line to see who can get this stage win. They also are very smart drivers, recognizing, okay, we don't need to push it too far. There's still a lot of racing action to happen after the stage is over. And I think for Seth Knoll, he's got a double knowledge in the back of his mind after the fact that he made contact and took out Shane Terrian for this race. And I don't think the 57 wants to be notoriously known for taking out 2 drivers that are hunting for a win and are full-time racers. Even though this 57 wants this win, wants it bad, another lap is down. Just 2 to go before the stage is over.
2 to go. We'll see as the stage, as was probably still battling back here for 10th position. We'll see if Larry can hold that position, as he's still got Vincent Sora just pouncing on him, but I don't know if Vincent Sora's got the the motor to get by him right now. But we'll have to wait and see how this all folds out as we're getting ready to come to the end of the stage here, Sam.
Coming to the end of the stage, and it's Seth Knoll currently still in that top spot over James Scioli. Sora with a chance to take the 10th place position. These are the best battles that are currently inside of our top 10. Is for the lead and for this 10th place spot, as it is still back and forth on who's going to get this position, as Seth Knoll, James Scioli going back and forth. Scioli blinked out for a quick second, but trouble further on back. Ollie Fonseca with a big scare for himself, as well for Brian Noel and Danny Cochran. And for that grouping of drivers, they're beating and banging even when it's coming to the line of the stage being over. Knoll will win the stage as Ollie Fonseca, huge bump and shove, trying to get in front of Noel. And Noel, they needed that caution. And Ollie better be careful with pushing buttons like that.
You know, if you can't pass them, just move them, right? That's what he just did.
Oh, we'll see if there's any retaliation bumped after that move. The double zero is getting right on the back bumper. Maybe throttling up, showing some displeasure. But man, what some moves all around the field. But it's Seth Knoll that will take the victory here at the stage break. The 57. Gonna be enjoying this one. And for us, I think we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we got more Darlington racing action to give you here tonight. It's just race 9 of the regular season. Still 3 more races left, but a lot of the field recognizing the start of this restart gonna be crucial on how well the rest of your race is gonna run up. Thank you for joining with us. We'll be back right after this with more Darlington action.
They're 5 wide behind for fifth. Oh my, the 5 wide here. This ain't gonna work. They make it last. Bumping and banging to the end. They're beating and banging for the lead. Sora still with the shot here, coming off a 4. That's it.
It's bottom line, here it comes. Oh no, Carter gets wrecked. It's gonna be that Nick Crawford. The 74 gets through somehow, and they just completely demolish one another. Trinity diving down low, drifting up, trying to be the stealer. Here he comes, Cedric Hunter. He does it. He steals it.
But he somehow drove it into the corner to wreck him.
Oh, they wrecked. They wrecked each other. The top 2 bounced into one another. Just too much of side drifting off of, and they got to be careful. Oh no, the 4 demolishes into 28. And we are back, ladies and gentlemen, to the WSSR Cup Series on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. Seth Knoll, mistake on pit road, similar to what we saw last week from Gavin Rogers. Overstepped, overslid, and had to back up, costing multiple positions. And instead, it's James Scioli up front. Zach Hall now going to be in second with Knoll in third. Rest of the field going to be stacked on top of one another. We got extended on our pacing as one driver going to be low. Real big slide. That's going to be Douglas Newbigging, who goes off pace. We stay green, no. And Ollie Fonseca just bouncing around and knocking everyone up and down. As it's going to be Danny Cochran and Ollie still cannot get away from one another. We keep it straight and green, but woohoo, did they want to wreck? And this 24 is around the chaos here the last few laps.
And that's what happens when you drive an Ohio State vehicle. No, anyways, yeah. I mean, what racing though? I mean, they kept it clean even though you got beaten and banging. You can literally see the smoke dissipating there coming out of turn 3 there, Sam. But yeah, wow, what beating banging there? He looked like a pinball machine there for a while.
It certainly was. And for Danny Cochran, I was just about to note on. We had to, Ollie goes around, down into the inside wall, but that's off the racing surface, but he brings it back up on track. Did not get the caution he was hoping for, and finally does, as there's Douglas Newbigging closing in on the 24, and, you know, got the caution he needed.
There you go. We'll see about going back on this replay here if we can find it and see exactly what happened as we're watching right now, Sam, as they're going through the turn here, and it looks like the 27 just got a good run, or not sure if he it looks like Ollie got loose.
It was a good run and looseness. It was a mixture of both, and then Ollie throws it up trying to do a J turn, then realizes he's locking it, lets it roll some more, and there's a driver oncoming as the 24 is on the racing surface, and that will bring out the caution. But here's the ride along with Ollie, and you can kind of see how it wiggles out off the exit of the corner, and this is
right there.
A little overcorrection. And with Jarrett Talmadge's run that he had zero time to react. Just runs into the 24 and then lets it just drift a little bit further. And there's oncoming traffic of Douglas Newbigging, and we're under our second caution of the day. Our second caution of the day. Crazy to say, but Ollie Fonseca, the 24, the pinball finally got tossed around.
Yeah. Wonder how much score he got out of that. Anyways, yeah. I mean, I mean, he was just bouncing around there for a while. So, unfortunately, he's got to go in and get that, you know, required damage or whatever. I don't know if he has required. No, it don't look like he's got required damage, but he does got damage.
Yeah, quite a bit of damage for the 24. Also for the 2, as Danny Cochran goes into pit road to get service done. And under the stage caution, it got extended by an extra lap or 2 because Danny accidentally spun it out. That forced it to get an extra couple of laps. So the 2 is already dealing with a lot, then gets involved in that incident with the 24. And I think this is a needed reset, but the danger of cautions is that they sometimes breed cautions. And I got to say, with the way that we're seeing some of these drivers racing around one another, I mean, I'm curious, Robert, on how well the field is going to react on, can we spread out again? I know that we will at some point, but the question is, will it take a couple of cautions, or will we just be able to go back to green flag racing action and stay green for a longer duration of time on this go?
Yeah, we're going to have to see how that all plays out, Sam. And, you know, we're getting side by side. We're going to get ready to go back green, and we all know how this track is. It's tough going side by side. You want to get single file as fast as you can. So we'll have to see how much aggressive driving that we're going to have out of some of these people to try to gain their positions, you know, that they feel that they deserve or where they belong. But we're going to go back green here very shortly, Sam, and only time tells of what this is all going to, you know, turn out to be.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things of how is the field going to react? Are they going to be racing aggressively to keep these spots, or are they going to be willing to, you know, be patient and let the race come to them? We'll find out and see. Seth Knoll staying very off the pace. He finally closes it up, so that's going to check a couple of the people up as we get ready for this restart. As we're into the restart zone, and Darlington is back to green flag action. And oh no,
Oh,
Jared,
no, 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 no.
Rogers in the outside wall. Ryan Kelly goes around
one.
the field. They did not get the restart they wanted. Caution is back out.
Oh, man. I was worried about that. Cold tires, and looks like Vincent Sora got a black flag.
I think that should get cleared. It's because he had to pass a driver on the left side, which was getting around Gavin Rogers. You see here on this restart, Rogers tries to take off a big wheel spin for the 27, and everyone else trying to get around, but it's Ryan Kelly who gets the worst of it for the 3 machine. So they take off and go. There's the wheel spin, and then Vincent Sora gets into Kelly. Kelly goes around, and I mean, kudos to the rest of the field for no one else just absolutely slamming the 3 machine when it could have been a lot worse.
Most down. I bet, the 3 machine is counting his blessings there as go back and see if we can get on. Where is the...
He's down in 30th. He's lost all his position. Went from being inside the top 5. And with being clipped by Vincent Sora, who's trying to avoid Gavin Rogers, just nothing you can do. There's a ride-alongs. All you see is traffic coming your way, and luckily no one gets into you, and Kelly able to take off and roll. He'll be back all the way in 30th position. He's gonna have a long night for the driver that won here last season, but luckily for Ryan Kelly, didn't dominate that race with leading the most laps. He actually only led 36 of 150, so see if Kelly can work his way through traffic, or do we need to settle in? As we're under this caution, does give us time to say thank you to the amazing sponsors that help out the WSSR this season for season 10. I want to say thank you to GTR Simulators. GTR Simulators partnered up with the Kick Sauber team from F1 to come together and make their special edition GTA Compact V2 Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber foldable racing simulator, allowing you to have your own simulator that feels like you're racing in its own vehicle. Go out to gtrsimulators.com and use the promo code WSSR for 10% off. That is going with all products that they have on GTR Simulators. Again, that's GTR Simulators for experienced pro level racing from home. Remember to also go check out that GTA Compact V2 Stake F1 Team Kick Sauber machine today. Also want to say thank you to Trophy Smack. Trophy Smack has been the trophy provider for the WSSR Cup Series since season 4. Crazy enough to say that. They've been around for quite a while. It was originally championship rings that Vincent Sora was able to capture, as well as Larry Yangling. And then the last couple of seasons, it's been actual trophies customized for the driver that gets to hoist that championship. Benjamin Nelson got 2 trophies. Zach Hall got 1 last season. And now it's the chase to who can get their own Trophy Smack trophy. And if you want to get your own championship trophy for any sporting event or fantasy sports, or for simulator racing, go check out Trophy Smack today and check out their wide range of championship belts, rings, championship trophies, and more at trophysmack.com. And when purchasing, remember to use the promo code WSSR Smack for 10% off. Woo, crazy thing, Robert. We are only a third of the way through tonight's race. We still have 100 laps to go, and we have seen a lot of ups and downs, and let's see a couple of more. It's going to be James Scioli, Sentinel, going to be the front runners here on this restart, as the 77 going to be the control vehicle, ready for a good launch for himself on the inside. Rest of the field, where will they go? As it's going to be the inside group with a good launch. Zach Hall going to be following through. It's now side by side for second on back, as James Scioli got the run that he wanted, as now it's going to be Hall, Knoll, also going to be Hunter, as well as seeing John Forbes Jr., our biggest mover, up 17 positions, currently battling for 5th.
I mean, we noted earlier, he's got the speed behind it, and it shows up 17 position as he's side by side right now, here trying to work his way around the track.
He's certainly trying to make it work at this current moment. Also, Vincent Sora has been following through with the 11 machine. Chad Wilkes has had a couple of good runs, and that last restart incident forcing Gavin Rogers now to be outside of the top 5. He'll be back in 9th position currently. You can see everyone else also outside of the top 15. It is just a hornet's nest of drivers still side by side. But Rogers looking for the timing. That's the big thing here at Darlington. He's having the timing of when you get a massive run, when you're able to utilize it, and when you can't utilize that huge run. And for Gavin Rogers, he looked quick in the center of the corner, but it was off the exit where he caught Larry Yingling at a poor spot that he couldn't utilize that speed. And now everyone else in line. This is what they needed, and this is what we were hoping to see, Robert, was drivers single filed out so we can get in this long green flag run.
And that's, again, that's what we need. You're going to get single file, but right now it's still that Vincent, Sora, and Larry. I think they're a magnet tonight. These two guys just do not want to let each other go here, as now Vincent Sora is going to look below and try to get that run and see if he's clear. He's clear a little bit, but I don't know. Larry's got the run. Nope. And looks like Vincent finally figured it out to get around Larry there.
Finally was able to get it done. And now we'll see how many more positions this 51 can grab for himself. And again, we look at the past of the WSSR. We've cycled through the Gen 6 Cup car to the Gen 7. Then we switched over to the ARCA car before transforming into the full Gen 4 machines that iRacing put in, and then back to the next gens. Whenever we look back to those old Gen 7 seasons, back in season 4, 5, 6, and 7, 4, 5, and 6, it's those races that we've really seen drivers continue to show good pace. If they succeeded back in those seasons, they usually succeed here in season 10. Last driver to win in those old Gen 7 days back in season 5 was Vincent Sora. He has proven that he can make his way through the field. Speaking about working their way through the field, here's the 21 of Ross Tatum. He's trying to make his way forward as best as he can, up 2 spots, but Cody Reed up 11, started all the way back in 28th position, and this 25 keeping his nose out of trouble. He was around a couple of drivers that looked a little bit nerve-wracking at moments, but I got to give credit to Cody Reed. He's done a great job getting inside of the top 20 as he continues to try this fight and climb to move forward.
That he is. I mean, he's working, like you said, trying to fight, climb forward as he's looking to see what he can do with Ross Tatum there in that mellow yellow machine. Trying to work his way around, but he's slowly just taking his time. He's looking clean. He's scraped the wall here and there a little bit, but you know, again, these next gen cars are, you know, they're built like tanks, so they can take a little bit of scraping and, you know, not really damage your aero or anything like that. But right now Cody's getting the run on that mellow yellow machine of Ross Tatum, but looks like he can't do nothing with it right now, Sam, as he's going to try to work it, as he's got the 16 looking right behind him too there.
Yeah, that plankton machine.
I
That's
like
going to
that.
be Joshua Kanata, all the SpongeBob themed machines. Credit going to Justin Forbes, who painted them. And Cody Reed finally have an opportunity to go to the outside. Can he utilize this momentum? But it looks like that wall called a little bit too much. Had to back off was Cody, and Kanata taking advantage. But the fact that Ross Tatum's still there, but Cody, hard contact. You know, we're talking about brushing the wall. That is not brushing. That is some hard contact that if you have too many hits like that, your day could be over. Luckily for Cody, didn't get a required damage flag, but that obviously is going to do some damage to the front right, and you do not want to gain more front right damage. That tightens up the car with an already tight setup entering tonight. That is not helping the 25's day. That was already, he was trying to make the climb. Instead, might be a different mentality moving forward as you fall back to the battling that's going back and forth for 22nd position. As a sweet Danny Cochran, as well as Justin Malarkey, and the 24 of Ollie Fonseca, Ohio State machine. I mean, he fell back, but he's on the charge going forward, as well as the 3 of Ryan Kelly. Both of these drivers needed those cautions, and they're back in the fight to try to get back into the top 20. But Ollie, I mean, this 24 just looks like a handful. Every position he's in, it just does not look comfortable as he tries to set up for another run here on Malarkey, and he'll throw it down there, but just sticking and using, hey, if you can't make the turn with 4 tires, why not make it with 8 as Malarkey gets used up, and it's Ollie Fonseca who makes the pass.
Yeah, Ollie made the pass, like you said. 8 tires are better than 4, as right now we're looking at Andrew Medlin and Ryan Kelly there. They're going to try to get around Justin Malarkey and try to work their way around here as they battle. Oh, and Ryan Kelly gets it, man. That turn 3 is nuts there, Sam.
Yeah, that exit of turn 4 is dangerous. Again, it just narrows up so much off the exit that it turns into about a lane and a half. And if you're not perfect, one of the two drivers are going to make contact with one another. And Ryan Kelly backs off, setting up for a run. He's going to be sneaking in on the inside. Is the 3 machine. Just aiming for the left. The 3 just poking the nose off the exit of the corner. And finally, it'll be clear. As now Andrew Medlin will try to set up a chance to get by this 73. Is Malarkey's day, I think it's a reset. See how the long run maybe changes up, as he's not looking like one of the faster machines, but you don't have to be fast for a good day as long as you survive the night. I think that's a good Darlington race you could take away as we move up now to the drivers in 10th place. Here's Brian McCann. McCann, again, entering tonight 13th in points. Needs a good points day as he's racing around drivers like Cedric Hunter, Jared Talmadge, Chris Stitz. He needs to be in front of them, and he certainly is doing that currently.
Like you said, he's going currently, and also, you know, something else we don't talk about much right now too is they're shifting here. As you can see, he hops up into 5th gear, going down into turn 1 actually turn 3. Sorry, they got a wrong turn there. About 180 miles per hour, and got to get that thing lowered down to about 140. And now you're going to see him come out of turn number 3, get that thing up. He's going to shift up, I do believe. No, he keeps it in 4th gear there. And then you're going to run through 1 and 2, keep it off the wall at about 150 miles per hour. And actually, you can hear him scrape the wall there for a little bit there, Sam.
A little bit of a scrape, and also other scrapes that have happened. Justin Malarkey, who we were watching right when we switched cameras, caught up in an incident with Andrew Medlin. The 73's day looks like it will be done. Hard contact to the inside wall. You hate to see that. Again, just surviving the race is a success. Not going to be the case for Malarkey here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not going to be his night as we're riding along now here with Ken Campbell in that Camel machine, and see how he's running. He's looking pretty good right now. He's still up here running at least in the top 15 right now. And earlier, you know, during the race there, Sam, he was actually up in the top 10 battle. And so we know he's got a top 10 vehicle. But as you can see here, everybody's spread out, and now it's just about racing the track, keeping your car, you know, clean, and try to keep them tires on. I think tonight's going to be very key with, you know, with the tires.
Yeah, it certainly will be the key, and we're closing in on that point during stage 1 where the tires were starting to fall off. Now, we've had a couple of cautions. It's going to enable these tires to go a little bit further. The fuel window we were given was around 70 to 72 laps on fuel, so we still have another about 40 laps until we might see some drivers think about pit stops. I think around lap 100 might be that window a lot of the field is looking for. But here's what the temperature is looking like as your weather for tonight's race. It is a hot track. Currently, the air and temperature, that's the ambient temperature, is currently 79 degrees Fahrenheit. Then you look at the track temp, 116. That is a hot track. The wind staying pretty consistent around 7 to 8 miles per hour. Humidity staying at a 21%. But it is the middle of the day. Some drivers love this temperature because it makes the track hot, makes the wear and tear on the tires a lot more. You can build up a heat a lot more in the tires, which makes it a lot more trickier aspect of a race. But for some others, they would rather have a cooler racetrack so they can stay on the track and feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, the cooler the track is, the more grip you got. But also, you know, Sam, running here at Darlington, you know, we talked to, you know, how everything narrows up. It's already a really narrow track as we see, you know, as these guys are battling. You know, iRacing also has in with, you know, you got rubber buildup, you got heat buildup in different areas when the track, you know, it has the sun hitting and if a cloud comes over. So if you're wearing your tires out, Sam, what would your recommendation be to try to get more grip by, you know, getting out of that rubber? Because, you know, all that rubber's being thrown up into turn 3, you know, and you want to run the wall. That's the fastest way around, but you don't want to get in that marbles.
Yeah, I mean, where to run on the track is always interesting. It's kind of, I would say, similar to Bristol in a way, where iRacing with updates to the car physics, to the updates to the tires, it kind of changes at moments. Sometimes you want to just rip and stay on the wall. Other times you want to try to stay low at that dotted line, where that's kind of the transition from the apron to the racing surface. You want to stay as close to that. It currently looks like it's a little bit of ebb and flow on both. Some drivers are attempting 2 different aspects of how to tackle this course. Some are entering the corner a little bit lower to help carry more speed. and others are trying to stay higher and have their apex be lower for themselves. Side by side, it's kind of both drivers are being hurt. As Cedric Hunter and Vincent Sora going back and forth. This is for 6th place position. The 51 will stay there. Brian McCann with the big slide, though, for the 8 machine behind them. But it's going to be a lot more of holding grip, keeping the grip later on, a lot of more coasting and trying to let the car slow it down and not being on the gas as much. It's going to help with those tire temperatures. But overall, it's tough to really save on tire wear, save on tire heat. You are constantly turning, and it is building up a lot of heat in these tires. But I think for the field, it's a lot of protect the exit of the corner than anything else that you're looking for.
I do believe you're correct there, Sam. You know, so I know you're correct there on how to get around here. As you know, we're seeing Brian McCann, you know, just exit. You know, you see these cars getting loose, and like you said, you know, we're looking at around lap 100. You said here that these guys should, you know, look at getting pit stops. So these tires are right now are really worn out. Now this is a very abrasive track, you know, so it does chew up the tires extremely fast. You know, 10, 15 laps into it, you're already starting to feel that wear.
Yeah, and also with the track temp, it has been building up as the race has gone on, as we're in the middle of the day, so the ambient temperature is going to get warmer, the track's going to get warmer, but also tires and the way the drivers are racing is going to heat up. As Danny Cochran thought there was an attempt to go after Chris Ditz, it wasn't able to capitalize. Instead, it goes to Ryan Kelly to make that pass for 21st position. But I think we're about 4 to 5 laps away from these tires really being in a danger zone that we're going to have to watch out throughout the whole entire field. Who's going to make a mistake and slip up? Because we've had those couple of early cautions before the stage. That will help out on the tire length and how far you could go. Also going to help out on fuel if drivers want to go a little bit further than lap 100 ahead of the pit road. But we're now in that zone where we saw at the end of the stage where everyone's rear end was wiggling off the exit. You even saw there Zach Hall, Drew Jua, both that are running inside of our top 10 had little moments off the exit of turn 2. It's just going to compound and build on as this run progresses forward. And these next 25 laps are going to be key on who can keep good pace, also have a running vehicle before green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I mean, ouch. Sorry to apologize for that. I kind of slipped off my chair, Sam. See, I can't even sit on my chair right now. I'm falling off of it. Such good racing here.
Oh, it is constant drama all around. I mean, drivers up front battling for the lead. It's within 4/10. Seth Knoll not really giving up on James Scioli. That's been close, great racing action going on. The battle for 10th place has been great between Larry Yingling, Brian McCann, and Brian Noel. Also, I think the most dramatic place, we're going to see a caution here tonight, it's going to be in the battling of drivers from 24th all the way back to 28th position, if not 29th. The battle for last is the scariest place on track because they are right on top of one another, and they have looked out of control since these past about 15 laps or so.
Yeah, like you said, and we're watching them right now. Back here, as man, Trevor is just... We've seen that multiple times now out of that Ford machine, just snapping loose on him.
Yeah, and I think it's not even a looseness. It's him trying to keep this car off the wall, off the exit of the corner, and also trying to carry momentum. Oh, no, there it is. Gets into Ollie Fonseca, and Ollie keeps it straight. No caution is out. And the Ford was trying the inside, trying the outside, and ultimately it snapped on him, coming down onto Ollie, and both drivers trying to get around this course, looking at required damage flags. Neither got it, but hard content for both drivers, but they will continue to race on. We stay clean and green, but both drivers' days have gotten a lot worse as they continue to stay on top of one another.
Yeah, we're going to get a close shot here. Look at that front tire now there, that left, you know, yeah, that tire there on the right front there, Sam, does not look healthy, and I'm sure if he taps that wall just a little bit more, he's going to have totaling damage because that thing is just on the verge of breaking.
Yeah, it's really the front right that is looking the most damaged.
And there he goes.
He's going into pit road. I'm not surprised by that. These drivers are told by their crew chiefs in iRacing if there is damage. to the wheel at all. And if they are getting told there's damage on the wheel, it just doesn't get easier. And speaking of easier, more drivers getting into trouble even behind. Saw that 15 and Ken Campbell get out of control. Christopher Norris with a big save. And Campbell sliding all around. Now it's going to be Ying driver Ryan Kelly trying to get by Chris Stitz and able to do so. Stitz doesn't want to be a part of that challenge, and Ryan Kelly now up to 20th for himself. So from 29th up to 20th, not a bad restart for the 3 machine, who has been trying to make this march forward as well as he can. Still a long way to go as we're in the second half of this race. And Robert, I mean, I don't know if we're going to be able to make it 2 green flag pit stops unless the field really starts to get spaced out away from one another, but they're still small little pods around one another. And now the closest one with the biggest pack, it's the battling going on for 4th place as John Forbes has now moved up into 4th position.
Right, John Forbes, now you got Vince Astor now looking on Zach. Zach's looking, you see, I think just snapping a little loose. Cedric Hunter snapping a little loose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Sam. We might not make it, like you said, to that, the opening for their pit stops. These tires, unless, these drivers say, okay, I made it as far as I can go. Now it's time for me to go in and do an early pit stop and get some fresh Goodyears on this thing.
Oh, no, caution's going to be popping up. It's Joshua Kanata, Ryan Kelly get involved with one another. And it's on the front stretch as they were exiting out of 4. Kelly tried his best to go for a pass, Kanata as well, but they ultimately made contact off the exit of 4. And it's similar spot where we saw the Trevor Earhart and Ollie Fonseca incident, but it was just a building up moment as there was the Ken Campbell incident that happened about 5 laps ago that we saw kind of for a quick moment where Christopher Norris went out of control. But it's the 3 and the 16 that were the 2 drivers that were involved with this incident. Again, that's in the next about 5 laps or so in this replay, as there's the incident right there that brought out the caution with the 16 spinning around, and it just went for a big move. Wasn't there off the exit turn 4, Ryan Kelly, and was trying his best to continue this major surge to get inside of the top 20 even more, and saw an opportunity, but wiggle, slap, contact, and away they both go on the front stretch.
Whoa, look at Ken. Oh, look out. And Ken, oh my goodness. Ken probably had a scare of his life there, trying to figure out go left or right there, Sam.
Yeah, left, right, where do you go? Nowhere safe. And Ryan Kelly ultimately just parks it, takes a tow to pit road, and the rest of the field are entering into pit road to get service done. And this, actually, with the timing, could be their one and only stop of the day. Not going to be having a green flag pit stop. They're good on fuel. It's now going to be based off of tires moving forward, as Seth Knoll made a mistake under our stage break when he went into pit road. Will the 57 stay in second, or will anyone else have made a mistake? And they're raced off a pit road. It's going to be close.
Wow.
Seth Knoll is close, and I think he might have beat him to the line, and he did. Knoll went from a mistake at the stage, success on the next time he goes into pit road. The 57 got to have that top spot and control of the restart.
And looking at our data, his pit stop going down pit lane, he had a 47.2 compared to James' 47.6, Sam, and his pit stop, Seth Knoll, 14.3 to Scioli's 14.6. Right there goes to show you, you get down pit lane perfectly, you get in your pit stop perfectly, and you exit, you gain positions. We all say sometimes pit stop wins the race.
And it really did change things last week at Phoenix, and it could be the changing factor here tonight to allow Seth Knoll. He's made the mistake back at lap 2, now trying to still get into victory lane, as he's going to be the control vehicle for this restart. Again, with the timing of this caution, drivers do have 4 extra sets of tires to work with starting entering tonight. Everyone still has 2 sets for the rest of the evening with all the stops that have been made. And if we have another caution in about 20 laps or so, that's going to be the question of, do you want to use a set there? Do you want to work on a set later on? It's going to be the fun gambling games from here moving forward on pit stop strategies. We'll keep an eye on as Seth Knoll, James Scioli, Drew Jua, John Forbes Jr., as well as Vincent Soar, going to be your top 5, with Cedric Hunter, as well as going to be seeing the likes of Larry Yingling, Gavin Rogers, Brian Noel, Brian McCann will be finishing out our top 10. We did lose Trevor Earhart after his incident earlier on that he had with Ollie Fonseca. So now we're down to just 28 drivers out on track, only 25 on the lead lap, and we are back to green flag racing. Up front, it's Noel with a great launch for himself. Outside lane did not get going. And it is side-by-side for second with Drew Jua. Also, James Scioli. And Scioli looks like he'll keep that position. Drew Jua will move up into third. But Seth Knoll almost up to a half a second gap over the 77 off the exit of 2.
Yeah, he got a great restart there and just pulled away. As right now we're watching him try to still go side-by-side there for third position. They're trying to figure out Drew Jua and John Forbes. They're battling out with Vincent Sawyer just right behind them.
Who's going to have third? Is it the 11? Is it the 88? It looks like it will be Drew Jua as we hop on board with the 11 of John Forbes and get a sense of what it's like to ride here. Fresh rubber, cold tires, but you're trying everything in your power to take these positions away. And also can see those gears shifting. Still in fourth gear. It's going to be through the front stretch where we'll shift back up into fifth, but all these drivers trying to find small ways to get an advantage. Currently, it's Forbes doing a great job. Well, staying in fourth, though. I think that's the most interesting part of this race is when do you decide to shift up. For some, it's just stay in fourth, let it rev out until you need to slow down. Others feel like they need to shift up into fifth, and it's really on the backstretch where you have to shift up. And you saw that massive run by the 11, gave him a chance to get underneath Drew Jua, and then ahead of them, James Scioli looking quick here in the short run as he's closing that gap dramatically to Seth Knoll.
Yeah, he's closing it in, but you know, also riding along there for a while, you could just see how much banking at here at this track too, Sam. You know, going down the backstretch, you're still with a little bit of banking, and then this is not a complete flat track. It's got banking all the way around it.
It certainly does. A lot of banking all around on this racetrack. And everyone's trying to find out where is the best place to go for a pass. Is it entering the corner? Is it off the exit? And currently the field recognizing where they're feeling the most safe at this moment as that turn 1 at 25 degrees, turn 1 and 2, excuse me, at 25 degrees. Turns 3 and 4 has got 23 degrees of banking. And both the front stretch and the back stretch have slight banking that they're working with. Front stretch has 3 degrees of banking. The back stretch has 2 degrees. So you're always slightly dealing with some bend, but currently the field recognizing that it's really just try to carry your speed, momentum, and when you catch up to a driver, hope that the timing's right, that you can keep your momentum up. Otherwise, hope the driver behind you doesn't run you over.
Yeah, that's it. Keep the momentum up and don't tap the wall just like we just see Douglas Newbigin there. He's just bouncing off the wall and he keeps it going. Keeps himself in 16th position right now as he's trying to catch up to Ken Campbell, as we've got Chad here looking like slowing down just a little bit, and Ken Campbell's a little loose coming through there. But you were noted on, Sam, that you said that that last pit stop could be the final pit stop for these guys. They're gonna have enough fuel, as you said. Would you recommend going all the way to the end of the race the way these tires are?
I mean, if it's the way that the race stays green to the end, you have to. You have to, at this point, strategize like we're going to the end of this race. You cannot bank on a caution flag coming out, even though it looks very promising that every 20 to 40 laps we're going to have a caution, just because of the way that the wear and tear on these tires are, the way that drivers are trying to get aggressive at the end of these runs. You need those positions, and the tires sometimes just aren't there when you're attempting these passes like it is in the early going. See the 2 of Danny Cochran as well as the 27 of Jared Talmadge going back and forth. Talmadge, once again, slingshotting his way to the inside, hoping he's close enough for a pass, but equal. And at this point, you're either trusting the driver on the outside is just going to give you that spot, or that you can get a good enough run, and most of the time, it's going to be the driver on the outside who gets the better run off the exit of the corner, and Danny Cochran defends for another lap, and Talmadge has to back off.
That's the thing. We've been watching these two guys. This backpack is like there's just certain pods that you were saying that can't get away from each other here tonight. So, we'll have to see if, you know, he can hold off that 27 here, because you can see now Danny pulling away from Jared a little bit, but that quick, if Danny messes up a corner or has to slow down a little bit, you know, Jared's just right back on top of him.
Yeah, he certainly is just right there. Also, other drivers are right on top of one another behind these guys. The 50 of Garcia and the 25 of Cody Reed. They're close, looking for a chance for an opportunity to go for a pass. But then in front of this group, that's been seeing Douglas Newbegin being the driver who's initiating a lot of passes in 14th position, and the 7 who had an early slip up that lost a lot of positions. He's having to make some big, bold passing moves. Here's Zach Hall, though,
Yeah.
who
Wow.
all the way in the back after slight mistakes for himself, really costing on time. And I mean, ultimately for Hall, this is going to be a long race for him to get back into the run here, as he was really starting to lose traction on his tire before that last caution came out, and just losing a lot of time for the one machine. It's going to be a long trek to get through the field. Like we saw for the 3 of Ryan Kelly, it almost felt impossible at times to get by drivers, and you have to put yourself in risky positions to take passes. And the 1, if he wants passes, he's going to have to make some risky calls, or settle back here and see what positions you can gain once the tire wear really kicks in.
Yeah. Well, how did Zach get back here? A bad pit stop?
I'll be honest, I do not remember. Well, there were other stuff I was looking at that I did not know how he got back here.
These guys still have not given up, like you said. Now you got Cody Reed getting into the battle here. He's going to look to try to get around that number 50 machine. You got Andrew Medlin still trying to battle back here. Now he's going to look underneath Garcia and try to make it. Oh, nope, here comes Zach Hall as a... Whoa. Okay.
Trying to get around drivers when you can, and it can get dangerous. I do have an update. It looks like for Zach Hall, caught speeding when he was leaving his box, so had to relinquish all those spots, start in the back of the pack. That's why the one machine is back here instead of being up front instead of a top 10. That's why he's outside of the top 20 for the 1.
Just looking at this field here right now to talk about some other drivers. I mean, we are basically from what, first position all the way back to about 12th position, single file, right on top of each other. I mean, it's great battle, and it is now. We're going to look at Calvin Rogers right now. He's going to try to go underneath Cedric Hunter into turn 1 and 2 here, and doesn't get it done. But it also looks like Calvin Rogers got a little bit of damage there too on that right front there. He must have hit the wall pretty decent himself.
Yeah, and I feel like that's what a lot of drivers have been dealing with is the damage. The outside wall has been calling for a lot of these guys. That you got to be careful. If you grab a little bit of damage here or there, you can handle that. But these little contacts do accumulate and could cause major issues later on. You can get a required damage flag if you make too much contact. So guys that are seeing visible damage, they're the ones you have to be curious and concerned about later on. We know for Kevin Rogers, though, that front right damage is from when he made the incident of wheel spin and got into the outside wall. That's when we saw that major damage kick in, which was after the stage. And so that 75, he's been dealing with that damage for quite a while at this point. But the rest of the field, I think they're kind of in a cruise control mode, Robert, because they're trying to save the tires to make sure they've got it for the end stretch. So I think this might be a perfect time to take a quick break, come back, see who's still around in this long train from first all the way back to 12 of drivers just taking it easy, protecting their tires, and we'll see how well they can continue this on as you are watching the WSSR Cup Series. We'll be back with more Darlington action after this as we go side by side. We'll be back in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and we're starting to see a couple of battles trying to blossom up. The battle for the lead is currently underway. You've been also watching the battling going back and forth for 6 between Cedric Hunter and Gavin Rogers. A couple of drivers that have been impatient staying in this long train line from 1st all the way back to 12th. Starting to see some bigger gaps building in between, but everyone's practically stayed in line. And I think the drivers might be getting a little bit bored because they've been yapping back and forth between one another on how they're getting through this race. Everyone focusing on tires and making sure that they don't grab any more extra damage. We are not expecting any green flag pit stops to the end of this race. It is about survival and when do you flip the switch to take off and go. We're excited to have you with us here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. You're currently watching the WSSR Cup Series race number 9 of season 10 at Darlington, and the field is keeping it together, but Seth Knoll continues to ride an outside lane. Drew Jua, John Forbes, looks like they want to start racing it out now.
Oh, no!
Oh no! Seth Knoll goes around,
no!
Drew Jua goes around, multiple front runners are going to the back, and for Seth Knoll from the lead back to 13th, Drew Jua falls down to 12th. We'll see who gets their track position back. But Robert, we had a feeling that there was going to be an incident with about 20 to go. Well, how about 30 to go when we get this wreck and get back to racing action? The field is resetting here, and it is going to be a dogfight from here on out.
What chat's saying right now, they're probably happy now, saying thank you. At least we got something going on, even though you didn't want to be the one that was involved in it. But my goodness, as we'll go back to the replay here, we'll go to the blimp view here, and you can actually see multiple wrecks. Like, yeah, the 77.
There's the contact there.
Yeah. See here, right there.
There goes that spin.
And there goes that one. It's like, follow the leader, right? And that happens in racing. You get so focused sometimes you just follow the leader, and next minute you know you're spinning out.
And I know for both drivers that were caught up in that incident, I mean, for James Scioli, he'd been fighting for so long to get by Knoll there, and then you've got John Forbes, he's been fighting that whole entire run to try to get by Drew Jua, and both of their competition is now out of the way, and now it's pit stops, as drivers still have two sets in pit road to work with before this race is over. They're going to use one of those two, but it is going to be about a 30-lap shootout to the end of this race, and that long of a distance has been the realm of when we see the tires fall apart at the end of a run. And with restarts, Robert, we were talking about it during commercial break, if we go into a caution, I don't think we're going to stay green to the end. We might be seeing overtime with cautions breeding cautions, with the aggression level now ramping up to a new spot. And I knew one driver was going to be happy with seeing Seth Knoll go around. Shane Tarrant in chat saying my hero was seeing the 77 getting Knoll spun around. I knew Shane was going to say something, and he did.
Well, everybody's got their own opinion, right? That's all that's all I can say about it. But yeah, back to the race here with 30 laps to go. And like you said, you know, around the end of that, 30 lap run is where the tires, really start showing their wear and tear. The question is now you're going to be, double file. Do you be aggressive? Do you try to get out in single file right away? How aggressive is somebody to be? Some drivers might not want to be aggressive, want to take it easy, but then you're going to have a driver, behind you, Sam, that wants to be aggressive, which then forces you to be aggressive because you're playing defense and offense at the same time. I mean, so the mind aspect is this, back and forth from driver to driver. So I don't know, man. Like you said, cautions breed cautions, and ladies and gentlemen, get ready because I do believe this race is gonna heat up, and we're gonna see some action now.
Yeah, if you're just joining us, I think we bring up our race report on how this race has been so far. It has been actually a lot of green flag racing, surprisingly. We've only had a total of right here 5 cautions. And with those 5 cautions, I mean, it fits pretty close to the realm that we've had for the past 4 times the WSSR has raced at Darlington. The most cautions they ever had was 6, which has been 2 times, back in season 5 and 9. They had 3 cautions back in season 8, 4 in season 7, and the one that they didn't get, 0 cautions because there's a stage yellow We'll see if we have got one more caution in our back pocket, or are we taking it to the end? As it will be James Scioli, John Forbes, Vincent Sora, Cedric Hunter, Gavin Rogers, Larry Yingling, Brian Noel, as well as Tom Sinchek, Christopher Norris, and Douglas Newbigg in your top 10. Into the restart zone, the inside takes off and go. It's James Scioli and now Vincent Sora up to second place, as John Forbes has fallen to third. Already going to be our top 6 drivers in line, but the aggression level, you know it's going to ramp up. But with a 30-lap run to the end of this thing, you do know your tires are going to be important those final 10 laps. Are you willing to make the big move now, or do you stay patient later on? I feel like if you're outside of the top 5, you have to get aggressive. You need to make the big moves now and hope that you've got some life in your tires later on, as it's Scioli still with the lead ahead.
Yeah, and really good question there, Sam, is that these guys did have a 30-lap stint, twice. They know what the tires, they know about the rough range when the tires start falling off. Now, the question again is how aggressive do you be, as we got some vehicles in the back here getting into the wall.
And it's going to be Seth Knoll, who's going to be trying to make his way 3 wide, trying to get by some drivers. But Sheer Talmadge currently in 15th position, kind of being a blockade for further on and back, as it's 15th on back that's looking the scariest. If we're going to see a quick caution, it might be from this group, with Seth Knoll trying to find his way through this pack that are still side by side and have been on top of one another all night long. The 57's going to have to go 3 wide multiple times if he wants to get big moves. And there goes Drew Jewell and Dana Cochran, and as well as other drivers that keep it straight. We stay green, but Knoll trying to get by Christopher Wade. He's down on the apron underneath the dotted line. The 57's trying to use every little piece of this track to move forward, as he's up to 20th. But how safe will it be trying to close in on our front runners that are all spaced out, all single file? The first drivers that are side by side, we're battling for 8th, but everyone's giving each other plenty of space. They have spaced out dramatically. It's that 8th place position, though, where we find Douglas Newbigg, Tom Sinchek, Christopher Norris. I mean, this is a chaos crew that could build up if any one of them says, you know what, let's go.
Yeah, and you can see Tom Simchek, he's not waiting. He wants to go. You got Christopher Norris there running right behind these guys as they go side by side. And man, I don't know if this is just, I mean, you got to go, right? I mean, we're running out of laps, and oh man, these guys are just beating and banging each other.
They really are. They are willing to do everything for these spots. But like I said, if you're outside of the top 5, you need to get aggressive. You know these spots are going to be more and more difficult as the race goes on, and we're closing in on 25 laps to go. Make the pass now. Hope you have the tires later. That's all you can do, and hopefully you've got the best track position just in case a caution flag comes out. And Christopher Norris, who runs in 10th place, is loving this. A driver that was outside of our top 20 before the last caution. Zach Hall is up to 11th now. He's on the tailpipes of the 38 machine as he's setting up this passage, trying to get by Douglas Newbigg, but just doesn't have the run to get back in this fight. We do have some sad news, Robert. The 8 machine of Brian McCann, packet loss of internet. He gets knocked out of this race when he was looking so good at prime for a great finish. That could be a big influence on this playoff push, as he was around that bubble. He was 13th entry tonight in points. We got a lot of drivers at that cut line that are having unfortunate moments here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the race got single file as we're seeing right now, and like you said, joking around, the drivers were like singing to each other and talking and having a good old time. But it just seems like right now tonight, any driver that's pushing for that playoffs or trying to stay in the playoffs are having problems here. So welcome to the Lady in Black. She sometimes don't play nice.
No, she is not. Not at all here this evening. I think the one driver that's happy about it, but might be hating the fact that I'm noting on him, Cedric Hunter, 4th place runner. He is one of the few drivers that are inside from 10th to about 17th in points that have having a decent night here this evening. He's been trying to keep his nose clean, staying in front of Gavin Rogers as much as possible. And 4th place finish would be incredible for the Hello Kitty machine. Gavin Rogers setting up for a pass, and looks like he is in position to go for 4th place. But Cedric Hunter keeps his foot to the throttle, and Larry Yingling will follow through on the outside. At 17, a big run is the 67.
Yeah, and you can just see all the momentum just lost there from that 75 of Gavin Rogers. And the minute you go low like that, you get side by side, that just brings the pack of the cars behind you right back up to you, and then you got to figure out, okay, now I tried to pass the car in front of me, couldn't do it. Now I got to defend my position, and you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. It did work out there for Galvin Rogers, as now he's going to try the high side and see if he can get a run on that Hello Kitty machine of Cedric Hunter there.
Trying to get the run, a little bit of a wiggle. You can see almost every other car wiggling off the exit of the corner. And those that were willing to make big moves early on, they've got to add another about 5 to about 8 more laps before they will be in danger. The final 10 laps, we're going to be seeing a lot of shifting back and forth. Christopher Norris with a big slide to the inside. He'll give that 10th place position away to Zach Hall. Only loses 1 spot. Trying to recenter, refine that rhythm as we are closing in on going to be 20 laps to go. And still, our top about 12 are within 2 seconds of one another. It is still possible to get some big passes and get inside of the top 10 as Chris Stitz has closed in that gap. Ross Tatum will hope to close in the gap, as well as going to be Ken Campbell. And I'm looking at drivers that are outside of our top 14. You got Jared Tolman, Chad Wilkes, Garcia. Those drivers were fighting and clawing against one another. They've spaced out, luckily enough here to, if one driver makes a mistake, and get to the rear bumper and maybe it's sent for a pass, as see Talmadge trying to get the 15 out of shape down in the corner as Campbell almost brushing the wall. They'll stay side by side. Talmadge is going to have to back out of this, and it's going to hurt both the 15 and the 27 as Chad Wilkes gives a big tap to both drivers, and that tap actually helps out the 27. Talmadge stays in the fight when he shouldn't have been here.
Yeah, as now he's going to get pinched below. Man, Ken Campbell's going to keep it high there, and Talmadge is trying to figure out what to do. As we got the Chad there, he just, like you said, he just gave a great bump to that vehicle and just shot him. It's like, you know, they say you don't have much draft at Darlington. Well, I think Chad just showed us that you can.
Bump drafting certainly did help there. And I know Robert, before we went live, wanted to talk about food. Well, we got some food in that shot for a quick moment. I mean, you got Campbell's Soup, you got Lucky Charms, you got Cane's, everyone trying to make passes on top of one another for those spots from 15th on back as much as they can. Also, Chris Stitz trying to make the attempt for the 11th place on Christopher Norris. The best that he can currently, but up front, still James Scioli, Vincent Sora, John Forbes. That top 3 is starting to pull away from Cedric Hunter, as well as Gavin Rogers and the rest of our top 5. And it is going to be down to who can really set up for these final 10 laps. If we can stay green for 10 laps, as Douglas Newman into the wall. He keeps it straight. He's trying to get back up to speed, but a big shuffle from being up inside of our top 10, now back to 13th. And again, if we can stay green for the final 10 laps, we're going to see a huge shift on who's got the tires to stay up ahead. But Zach Hall has to get by Norris once again. And Norris is fighting back. It's now brought in Ross Tatum into the mix, as he's now side by side with Stitz, right on the back bumper of Norris. And it is a dogfight for who's going to be in these top positions and be inside of the top 10. As another driver, that's Christopher Wade, further on back, hard contact the inside wall.
Oh, man. And like you said, here we go. We've got 15 laps to go. If we can even stay green, I don't know, Sam. These guys are just flirting with that yellow as you seen, I was, when we were talking, I was about ready to talk about Doug, that he needed a good run. He's looking good until he just smacked the wall. So I don't get the commentator curse, but, he's outside the playoffs. He really needs to get, every position he can with tonight and the next 3 races to even make that push.
I think, Robert, if we're going to see an incident, it might be back for 15th place. Chad Wilshire, Talmadge, they are on top of one another as they go for another wiggle and slide. Seth Knowles trying to figure out how to get by these drivers that just keep on tapping on one another. Wilkes backs off. Talmadge stays in the gas. Knowles got to be careful as he finally gets clear by the 27. But for a couple of laps, I wasn't sure if we were going to be able to see that pass cleanly be made. And Knoll is just marching his way forward for a top 15 finish, but this small little grouping from about 15th back to 20th has just been a yo-yo effect. At one moment, they're on top of one another, they space out, they bring it back. Well, you say more of an accordion at times, as Joshua Kanata makes the pass on Andrew Mello, but they squeeze up into Joa, used up again, and into the wall. He's not outside weighs enough. But he's slow,
Oh,
trying to get up to
broke.
speed. I don't know if he can get up to speed in time. Caution might be thrown as the 88 is finally getting up through the gears. We still stay green.
Oh, he's going. I don't know if he's got a totaling problem, but he does have some severe damage on that machine. And now we're going to see him go down into turn 1 and 2 as we ride aboard with him, Sam. And you can just see it. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you can't hear us right now, Sam, but he is really struggling on that throttle.
Yeah, and crazy thing, no required damage flag for the 88. He is still able to run as iRacing is not requiring him to go into pit road, but this 88 has been used up all night long. And it has just come to a boiling point for the 88 machine. We now move up to the battling happening for 7th position as the 00, Brian Noel, falls away, losing position. Zach Hall will take a chance to the outside. He's able to make the pass. Ollie Fonseca, who's multiple laps down, now going to be passed by another driver, and lap cars in the mix as lead lap drivers get by, and Zach Hall able to get back in the top 10. What a recovery run for himself. Here's the battling outside of the top 10, though. It's Christopher Norris for 10th, Stitz for 11th, and Ross Tatum, once again, this grouping of drivers is back at it.
Oh, they're back at it, and I feel like we're playing with this, you know, you said it earlier, but I feel like we're playing Slinky right now. We play with the Slinky. They expand out, they come back in. They expand out, and they come back in.
Yeah, a little bit of yo-yoing, a little bit of accordion effect. It's just flirting with disaster each and every lap. And it's still up front. It seems Scioli as Norris did excuse each other, Bob bang against one another, and Ross Tatum thought it was going to go 3 wide. Instead will stay in the bumper of the 17 through 3 and 4. Norris stays high. Tatum trying to get into the throttle. They're almost pinching against one another, and somehow that's the cleanest exit we've seen from Norris in a while. No, Cody Reed, Garcia, they keep it straight, even with the big wiggle.
Oh my goodness! You think the tires are gone, ladies and gentlemen? we called it at that last pit stop, and here we are. These guys are. I don't know what to say, Sam.
And driver hard contact. Ross Tatum is now not able to get the pass on Christopher Norris. He makes hard contact to the inside wall. His night is done. That's another couple of positions to be grabbed. As the field, Douglas Newbigin goes around off of Wilkes, and there's the caution. And I think that's keeping us inside of regulation, but it's going to be close if we're heading to overtime.
Oh boy! Well, we said it, and we were waiting for it, and it came out. So.
Exit of 4 has been the danger zone, and it's the same spot where we saw the spin at Seth Knoll, where we saw the spin that happened with John Forbes and Chirachua, and now it's Douglas Newbigin and Chris Wilkes going to be side by side battling against one another on who was going to be inside of the top 15. And it just looked like for Wilkes, he was trying to side draft, come up to the 7. Like Hotzat gets the 7 around, and that will bring out the caution that resets the field. Everyone still has a set of tires in pit road. The question is, do you come into pit road? And if you do you take 2 tires? Do you take 4? Who's willing to take the gamble? Looks like everyone's coming into pit road if you're up front. Is anyone worth gambling further on back? It would be a suicide attempt to do so, but hey, who's willing to take the gamble? Sometimes you have to do what's different from the leader if you want a chance for at least getting a net gain finish.
Yeah, the way the racing is you're not gaining. It's so hard to pass. So yeah, 2 tires. I call it a suicide mission. I don't know if 2 tires is going to be that good, but we're going to find out who does and who doesn't, Sam.
As looking at the drivers who's going to leave pit road, looks like a lot of 4 tires for most of the field. Larry Yingling, though, taking off quick. Same for Brian Noel and a few others hoping to get an advantage. They will do so, but it's James Scioli, 2 tires for himself. Gavin Rogers, 2 tires. Larry Yingling, Noel, and Seth Knoll. 2 tires for our top 5 crew. Everyone else, it's 4 tires, and hope that you've got a chance.
5 laps to go. We are probably... Are we staying in regulation, or are we going?
I think it will be. I think it's going to be about a 3 to a 2 lap to go scenario. So I believe it will be inside regulation, green, white, checkered attempt here. as the pace car will drive by. It'll be 4 to go. And then once they go back again, it will give us the 1 to go indicator. And I believe it will be 2 laps, potentially 3 laps to go when we go green.
Oh boy. Well, like you said, we got what? The top 5 that took 2 tires. Everybody else took 4 tires. Yeah, 4 tires against 2 tires. This is going to be interesting on this start. One, does anybody wheel spin, with the old tires on the left side? 2, going down into turn 1, on old tires on the, on the inside. I don't know. I don't know how the car's going to react. I mean, I don't even know if some of these drivers even know how this car is going to react.
And it looks like pace car lights are off. We are going this time. It will be a 3-lap shootout. Top 5 drivers hoping for a good run here. James Scioli on the outside will be the control vehicle, but we've already seen wheel spin from the driver on the inside of Gavin Rogers. Hope for the best. Cross your fingers. Will we go to overtime? We do have overtime attempts if needed, or will this race end under regulation? It's time to find out. Will it be the 2 tires? Could it be the 4 tires? First driver who has 4 tires is Vincent Sora back in 6th. It's been hard to make passes, but it's time for the field to get ready to conclude race 9 of the season. Into the restart zone, taking off and going as the outside crew. It is go time. 3 laps to go here at Darlington.
3 laps to go. We're going to see how this all plays out as he got a great run on them 2 tires. A good start, though, right now, but them 4 tires, let's see what they can do right now as they're still side by side. Oh, and Gavin Rogers is going to get loose. Oh, we got Christopher Wade almost spinning out here. Hey, hang on. Here we go, Sam, with 3 laps to go.
Hold on, hang on. It is going to be seeing who can get the better run off the exit. James Scioli looks good. Brian Noel looks excellent. It's going to be drivers further on back with big issues, and that's going to be John Forbes as well. That's going to be Larry Yingling, Zach Hall with a big loss of time as well. But James Scioli, Noel, going to be the top 2 drivers. Gavin Rogers and Seth Knoll going to be in 4th. The 57 is hoping for a chance to close in the gap, but the driver with the freshest of 4 tires going to be in 5th place with John Forbes Jr. Knoll attempting to pass for 3rd, able to make the crossover move and dive ball move work, but it's going to be a slide on by for Gavin Rogers. He will not relinquish 3rd, and with that coming across the line, James Scioli sees the white flag in no competition close to him. Noel playing a little bit of gunner for the 0-0 as he holds back the rest of the crew. It's going to be a dogfight for 3rd, but for the win, Scioli has been picture perfect. He saw his competition get wrecked out, have mistakes, and the 77 took a gamble, and the gamble worked. Darlington calls for James Scioli.
Wow, what a call. And that car actually handled really nice on 2 tires, if my opinion there, Sam.
And drivers over the radio are shocked by the 2-tire call on how well they ran. And it was picture perfect for all those drivers. Larry Yingling, the only one who lost positions after taking 2 tires. But James Scioli, coming off of his win all the way back at Nashville Super Speedway, is now a 2-time winner, and he adds himself with the marks of Gavin Rogers and will be tied with 2 wins. But this 77, I mean, what a run for himself. Again, got the pole, wasn't up front for the most time, but when he did get up there after pit road mistakes from Seth Knoll, he never really relinquished it. And the 77 had a picture-perfect race there late, did everything that was needed, and victory is for this Meals on Wheels machine. Congratulations to James Scioli as well for Brian Noel and Gavin Rogers. For us up in the booth, we are going to step away. When we come back, we'll talk to our top 3, get their thoughts on this evening. We will see you right after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Freaky Fast Broadcasting for the post-race show of your Race 9 of the WSSR Cup Series at Darlington. We head to Victory Lane to talk to the 77 machine of James Scioli. James, congratulations on your victory here tonight. I know it was a grueler at moments, but coming with a little bit of a tap at time strategy at the end. But man, how are you feeling after your performance here this evening?
Yeah, I feel pretty good. First off, I gotta apologize to Seth. I mean, looking at it, it's close. I'm trying to side draft him, so I kind of follow him up high, and I don't realize that he gets the wall, and then as he comes off the wall, we make contact. So tried to hold my line there and just tried to side draft him. I was really just trying to show him different looks. It was so hard to pass. So, I was saving my tires pretty good on the long runs throughout the race, and just trying to, like I said, just trying to show him different looks and maybe get him to make a mistake. I was hoping he would make a mistake out of 2, and I could kind of send it into 3 and maybe slide up a little bit and clear him. That was kind of the goal. We had a long ways to go, so just trying to play in some passes and figure it out, and unfortunately ended up making some contact, so like I said, sorry to him. But other than that, really happy with how the race was. I really felt super good on all the long runs. Felt like I had some of the best long run pace out there, so it was unfortunate to see that yellow at the end. I was kind of just hoping that we would stay green and we'd be all good, but was able to survive on 2 tires and get the win. So
I mean, talk about those 2 tires, because I'll be honest, for Robert and I up at the booth, we weren't sure if the 2-tire call was going to be as strong as it looked. You guys looked like you were sticking perfectly to the surface. Were you shocked by the 2 tires, able to hold back the 4-tire drivers, or is this what you were expecting?
I didn't really know what to expect. I just knew that some guys were going to try it, and I knew I couldn't lose the lead at that point. Track position is more important than anything in the next gen, so just knew that I had to go 2 tires and hope that they stuck, and at least in clean air they actually felt pretty good. There was definitely a little bit less grip on exits, so just trying to baby it and manage it, especially when the right sides were cold and the left sides were still hot. So first lap was sketchy for sure, but definitely more grip than I figured, and luckily none of the 4-tire guys were able to make it through the pack. So
Well, James, you are now the 2nd driver with 2 wins this season, tying up with Gavin Rogers. We've got 3 more races left in the regular season with Road America, the Milwaukee Mile, then Daytona. What is your confidence for these final 3 races, or is there anything you're trying to learn to prep for the playoffs here in just about a month?
definitely feeling good. Definitely, I mean, every race is still a learning opportunity for sure. Just especially with tracks like the Milwaukee Mile, maybe try some different things out there, as it's a track we don't normally go to, and maybe see what works, and maybe you can apply it to a different track. So Milwaukee will be similar to New Hampshire. I think we go there in the playoffs. So definitely just learning experiences, trying to run good in the draft and keep building up some playoff points, and hopefully by the time the playoff starts, we're at the top and can have some extra points to help us make it through the next couple of rounds.
Well, we cannot wait to see how you perform in these next 3 races, James. But before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, first off, I want to shout out you guys for taking time out of your guys' day to let us do this. We really appreciate it. The broadcasts are top notch, so huge shout out to you guys, your team, and everything. Big shout out to the admin team as well, doing the same thing, taking some time out of their days to help us stay clean and do everything we can out there. And then huge shout out to Lucky Ducks, another good run. Brian finished second, so huge shout out to him. Seth finished fourth. Some of the other guys got caught up, Drew and Doug, but all around we had quite a bit of speed today. Shout out Meals on Wheels, Tiltify, Mobile One, Team Rubicon, and Simrap Market for being on the car, and hopefully we get a couple more interviews before the playoffs here.
Well, congratulations, James, once again on this win. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Road America.
Thanks, guys.
As that is your winner for race number 9 of the season. That's James Scioli in the 77 machine. We'll now fall down to second place to talk to his teammate, Brian Noel. And for Brian, this is one of his better finishes of the season. Brian and Sam up in the booth. Congratulations on second place. How are you feeling coming away with this amazing finish?
I'm feeling pretty good, I think, to start off tonight, in practice it was a little rough, and then as the race went on, I felt a little bit better with how the car handled, and what I had to do to make the tires last that little bit longer. And then obviously on that last yellow, making the call for 2 tires, I was committed. If there was a caution in the last 10-15 laps, that I was going to go on 2, just because of where I am in the points and how badly I guess I needed a good finish. So pretty good. I mean, I'm just glad I was able to keep it in a straight line and hold on to second. I wish I could have gotten the win, but I just don't think I was going to be touching James today. Not a lot of people were. So.
I mean, you said the perfect word. I mean, keeping the nose straight. It seemed like that was a difficult thing all throughout the night. How was it for yourself on those long green flag runs that we saw on trying to keep this thing underneath you once we got into that 20 or 30 lap run?
Well, it would be underneath. It would just plow. I think it must have just been the way I was driving it, and I could probably still do a little bit better with it. But it would just be plowing tight, at the end. And as the race went on, I would try to do different things to try and correct it. Whether it be back up the corner or just try and refine my line. And so that was the weak thing that was the thing that was weak for me in this race and pretty much the whole year. So to be able to work on it slowly throughout the race and then have the actual result to kind of show for it is pretty satisfying.
Well, Brian, we still have 3 more races left in the regular season. It looks like after tonight's race, you are 21st in points. We're heading to Road America, Milwaukee Mile, and Daytona. What's your confidence level that maybe you could find a final push to go after this playoff appearance?
I'm gonna be confident. I think because Road America is a road course, and when we went to the Red Bull Ring, I felt pretty good there. And it's a different style of road course, Road America, but it's still pretty similar. Like there's big braking zones and there's some long, fast sections. So I think whoever's going to be more aggressive in the braking zones is going to end up doing well. And I hope that I can do well there. And then Milwaukee Mile is going to be the real challenge, I think, for me. But I'll have to figure that out. And I have some good teammates that probably know how to drive it. And then Daytona is the wild card. And I really don't want to be in the position to have to probably win my way in, but it's probably going to happen at Daytona, and we'll just have to see what happens. I mean, I hope I'm in a better spot, but anything can happen.
It certainly can. Well, Brian, congratulations on second place here tonight. And before we let you go, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, I'd like to thank John, Lucky Ducks, continue to support me. Thank sponsors, Kid Hungry, Tiltify, and thank my teammates. They're always, being supportive and, trying to offer me some tips because admittedly I am kind of the weakest link on the team and I try not to be, but there's just some things that, I don't do as well as they do. And I feel like I'm trying to get better. Mainly it's tire saving, but, just having their help and I guess expertise is good, and I was able to finally have a good result to show for it.
Oh, it's been fun to watch your growth and getting faster each and every week. Congratulations on this run, and good luck next week on trying to get another good run at Road America.
Thank you.
As that will be your second place finisher in the 00 of Brian Noel. We're going to now move down to third place. We're going to talk to the 75 machine of Gavin Rogers, who was able to come away with third here tonight, as he had a long night trying to work his way back forward after those early mistakes. Gavin, I know you showed some great speed early on, but it looked like that wheel spin incident really hindered you. How are you feeling, though, coming away with third after that eventful day?
Sam, I'll definitely take it. I'm glad that caution came out at the end. We could kind of run a different strategy from everybody and pull out a top 3. Especially after last week, definitely got in my head once I missed my box and just kind of blew it at the end there. But tonight was a good race. Aside from hitting the wall, track position is just key, though, man. You can't get by anybody. And me behind Cedric, man, he was getting on my nerves. I'm not gonna lie, but he had to do what he had to do, and he was holding up in front of me. He was doing a great job defending, and I was trying to just run the wider line at 3 and cut down on exit to try to get a big enough of a run, but I couldn't get to the point where I could get my nose ahead, and I feel like I had to be like 3/4 ahead of him to really send it into 1 and 2, because I know he was sending it in pretty deep whenever I was on his inside. So I had a good advantage there, and I couldn't get it. So props to him on pulling it ahead of me. It's a tough track, man. But P3, I'll take it.
I mean, it was amazing to watch you have to recover after that incident. And obviously, it looked frustrating from an outside perspective, not able to get by that 13. But we're heading to a road course. We've seen you be almost perfect at every road course we see you out there on. What's the confidence level heading to Road America, as that will be our next destination here this season?
It's good. Obviously, you always have to have the mindset of kind of winning it. But I haven't had any practice, so I definitely gotta get ahead of that and put some laps in. It's a new track to me. It was kind of the same with Red Bull. I did have a couple laps there preparing for trying to help get a setup prepared for another league. But what is it? You said Road America it was?
Yes, Road America is our next destination. Then we also have Milwaukee Mile and then Daytona to finish out the regular season.
Yeah, Road America. I'm looking forward to it. Just have to put the laps in for sure. But I'll be missing Milwaukee Mile, unfortunately. So that'll be 2 races down. So I don't think the drop race is going to really help much anymore. So hopefully I can put up some good points next weekend. Daytona as well. Daytona is going to be tough, I'll tell you what. I did a little short race before the season started with Zach and a couple other guys, and it's bumpy, man. These cars at that track do not like each other. It's not a great blend, so it'll be a very interesting wild card for sure before heading into the playoffs.
We are excited to hear that, at least from a broadcast point of view. I know for you guys, the driver, it's going to be nerve-wracking. But Gavin, congratulations on another top 5 finish and getting 3rd. Before we let you go, though, the floor is now yours for any other shout-outs.
Yeah, first of all, just want to give all glory to God. Also, shout out to James Scioli on pulling off the win. It was a good battle between him and a few other guys. I was entertained watching them going at it. Shout out to Sundance Pizza, Butt Kicker Advanced GG, all the admins who put this together, Race Control, all the family watching, and you guys for doing a great broadcast.
Well, thank you for giving us such a great show to call. That'll be your 3rd place finisher in the 75 machine of Gavin Rogers. Gavin, congratulations on 3rd. Enjoy it, and good luck next week at Road America.
Alrighty, thanks, Sam.
As that will conclude our interviews here this evening. A lot of great racing action. We saw the exit of turn 4. It was the danger zone. A lot of hard contacts, a couple of spots off the exit of turn 2. And Darlington was a tough course. But let's first take a look at our unofficial results for the evening. We got to talk to our top 3. Our winner tonight being the 77 of James Scioli. Then Brian Noel up 11 spots from where he qualified in 13th. He'll take 2nd. Gavin Rogers will be taking 3rd with Seth Knoll. I mean, shockingly, he came back, got spun off the nose of the 77 with about 30 laps to go, and was able to make the march back, able to take away 4th. John Forbes will take 5th, as he's one of our biggest movers up on the day, up 18 spots, tied with Chris Stitz. 6th goes to Larry Yingling. Cedric Hunter will take 7th. 8th goes to Vincent Sora. Stitz are tied with biggest mover of the day. Will come away in 9th. And finishing on our top 10 is the 26th of Tom Senchek, another driver who tried to make a recovery run, Zach Hall. After caught speeding there in our last couple of restarts, he was able to make the charge back. But you look through the rest of the field, I mean, obviously I think a couple of drivers just frustrated with the ways that they were taken out, others frustrated with just the way the night progressed through. Drew Jua, one of those drivers, is frustrated. Douglas Newbigging, irritated at moments. We know Shane Terrian is very frustrated with being taken out on lap 2, but it's just one of those races where I'd say, Robert, I mean, anyone had a chance here tonight of getting a good run, but it really came down to could just survive being side by side off the exit of these corners.
That's it, Sam. I mean, it's Darlington. We knew what was coming. It's a tough track. We said it through the broadcast. It's a lady in black, Darlington. A whole bunch of different names, like you said. And sometimes she plays nice, and sometimes she plays rough. And tonight, it was rough for some drivers, and and good for other drivers. Especially again. You talked to James Scioli there on that 2-tire. I'm still amazed how that thing did not, snap out at all. It actually looked better on 2 tires than it did 4.
It really did. I think that's something to note of, and I'm not sure if it was going to work out. I think that's another thing. They knew they needed to make that strategy call because Scioli wanted to keep that track position. It turned out to be the best decision of the night. What a run overall. Here's our upcoming schedule, as we've got Monday nights returning February 24th. We will be seeing the ISRC Truck Series back out on course. Wednesday nights, we're here for the WSSR. This will be our schedule for the rest of 2025, unless special events pop up. But for full-time league racing, we will be sticking with ISRC Truck Series and the WSSR Cup Series, as we were shrinking down our schedules over here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We need a little bit of a break at moments. And Robert, we feel like this is going to be the most healthiest balance for ourselves, at least up in the booth, moving forward.
Yeah, that, and we got other things in life to do, as drivers know. So when you do go back and watch this, or anybody out there that watches the ending here, we got things to do in life, and it also, just like you said, we're cutting down in 2025. It gives us time to more focus on the league aspect, and then give a better product than worrying about 5 leagues and just giving our mediocre broadcast. Not that we don't do a good job, I don't want to say that, but you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, trying to just up our quality. More quality over quantity is the goal for us for this season. And we're happy to be sticking around with the WSSR and ISRC guys, as a lot of the drivers go back and forth in both series. And again, ISRC, they will be back end of February. It's February 24th is the official day, but still about a month away from seeing those trucks out on track. So that means we're sticking with WSSR Wednesday nights all the way through for the next month. It's going to be our only race of the week. So we're excited to see what we have moving forward. But for myself, Sam Zyer, as well for Robert Moyer Jr., we hope to see Richard back in the booth next week. I hope he has a safe travel to go see the Daytona 24 Hours, see that Rolex race in person, and he has a safe travel back. We hope to see him next week in the booth as we head to Road America for our next broadcast. But for us here tonight, thank you so much for joining with us. If this is your first time watching the Freaky Fast broadcast, we hope you subscribe, as we're hoping to have future content popping up here very shortly, as well as hit that like button if you enjoyed our broadcast. And if you want to see more great racing action, once you subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified when we are live on Wednesdays and Monday nights. But for this evening, thank you so much for joining with us. It came down to a 3-lap shootout, a little bit of gamble on tires, but it was the 77 of James Scioli taking the victory for himself. Congratulations to the 77 team, but for the rest of the field, they've got 3 more races left. The cutoff line got a little bit closer. Who will be making the top 16 and race their way into the playoffs? We're going to find out, as tonight's winner was James Scioli. Our next race next week, road course racing, left, right. Who will get into victory lane? We'll give you the call here on Freaky Fast Broadcasting. We will see you next week for our next broadcast.